when he has to make runs behind, when he has to come and receive, when he has to go on one of the sides to make spaces for the teammates. Today, read perfectly in the box how to make those movements. Unbelievable numbers. He's the sixth top goal scorer in the history of the national Spanish team. It's incredible numbers. He's scoring in the finals, penalties. He's a fantastic player. Maybe doesn't get the name and the media attention that other players do, but he's a fantastic player, and he keeps showing it game after game.
Who do you want next in the torture chamber? Who do you want next? You want Portugal or Croatia?
Croatian national team. For Cristiano, I mean, he is the one that carries on. He goes on to face Spain.
To change that, and we are underway on BBC Radio 5 Live, also available via the BBC Sounds app. Switzerland, Algeria, with Algeria getting us underway in their familiar white with a hint of green trim, and they will be defending the goal away to our right, and Switzerland in their familiar colours as well. Red shirts, the red shorts and the red socks with a hint of white, the white numbers on the backs of their red shirts. Zakaria gets an early touch back to Elvedi and all the way to Gregor Kerbel. This game taking place in Vancouver, Switzerland. Sue were very much embarking on the journey that Canada should have been embarking on, but because Canada lost to Switzerland, it means that Switzerland are playing here in Vancouver, and actually the winner of this game will be staying in Vancouver to play their last 16 tie. Obviously it was hoped from a co-host perspective that Canada would be very much here, but Switzerland rather spoilt the party.
Yeah, they did, and it was a good result for them as well, and it was actually a good game to watch. I thought, entertaining, and Switzerland showed exactly what they're capable of.
Vargas making good progress on the left wing, and he wins his side a throw level with the edge of the Algeria penalty area. And a first glance, Sue, of the very exciting Johan Manzambi, already with 3 goals. Newcastle heavily linked this week. It never takes long, does it, for one of the wonder kids to be linked with a move to a Premier League side?
No, absolutely not, and this is an opportunity for them, isn't it? They can showcase the talents, and he's certainly done that. He's just a player with so much potential, great to watch. Whenever he gets on the ball, he's a real spark, wants to drive at players. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching him live.
That throw was eventually given the other way, so Algeria now moving forward on their left wing. Decent defending back to Gregor Kerbel, even though the back pass from Rodriguez was a little heavily hit, but Kerbel, all in baby blue to our left, deals with that comfortably enough, and the ball back on halfway with Nabil Bentaleb, the former Spurs midfielder, to Belgali, who got a very good goal in that draw with Austria. Right back that loves to come forward, and first touch for Lucas Zidane, who is all in yellow. What an interesting tournament he has had. Playing the first 2 games, was a little bit shaky, and was then dropped for Osama Ben Bot. Not too many teams in World Cup history have changed goalkeepers midway through a tournament, and even fewer have then gone back to their original #1, so big game for Lucas Zidane. Mazza gets his first involvement of the game, but swarmed upon by several Switzerland players, and we're all the way back to Gregor Kerbel, who arrows his clearance to this right. As much as Manzambi is Switzerland's young gun to look forward to watching, Sue, Mazza is very much Algeria's. He's had a very good season in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, he has, and again, whether he's playing in the 10, a little bit further forward, even out wide, he's got that real sort of low centre of gravity, always looks to be on the half turn. Like you say, he's a young player with so much potential, but again, a player that's just brilliant to watch, always wants to get on the ball, just seems to have no fear.
Yeah, the 2 20-year-olds, Manzambi for Switzerland and Mazza for Algeria, could well hold a lot of the answers to a game that is expected to be very tight, and it certainly started that way in the opening 3.5 minutes on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Ball from Ben Sabaini back to Zidane, who's just on the edge of his penalty area, left foot boot downfield. Elvedi will control neatly enough, has his avenue back to goal blocked, but a clever ball down the line for Ndoye, who can't do much with that, prods it out of play, and Algeria have this throw near side the left.
I'm still trying to work out the Algeria setup in those forward areas. It does look like Mazza's maybe playing in the central position, in the number 9 position, but I think it is quite fluid, and I do think he will probably drop in and other players will maybe fill that position. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that one progresses.
Progressing down the line is Ait Nouri, who very nearly puts pressure on goalkeeper Kerbal, who played the sweeper keeper there and was in a decent position to quell what was a good-looking Algeria attack led by Ait Nouri.
Yeah, and he started really high up there, the left-hand side, Ait Nouri. It's a ball through and into the channels, and we know he's full of running, and yeah, Kerbal has to be aware and comes off his line quickly to clear.
Mbolo rather late on Ben Sebaini, who just got enough on that. Back to goalkeeper Zidane, referee, who is from Argentina, Yale Falcon Perez, taking charge of his 3rd game of this World Cup, having officiated Sweden, Tunisia, Mexico and Czech Republic. Plenty of goals in both of those games, so let's hope that bodes well. Mazza with a nice spin, then angles the ball out to that far side, the right, where Belghali's making good progress. Mahrez waits in the middle, he dummies it, and the right foot shot, Auer, is completely missed. That's the first real opening of this game, 5 minutes in, made by Mazza's switch of play. Belghali's cross, Mahrez clever dummy, and Auer didn't really make required contact with the shot.
Oh, it's absolute brilliant play from Algeria. It's just the finish that lets them down. The lovely switch of play. Mazza picks the ball up centrally, plays the ball out wide to the right-hand side, and as the ball gets delivered, Mahrez, lovely dummy. He's so intelligent, knows where his players are, but Auer just can't finish the chance off central.
Algeria keeping good possession here, putting early pressure on Switzerland, and that was a definite chance. And from an Algerian perspective, he wouldn't have minded maybe if that had been the other way around. Auer's dummy for Mahrez.
Absolutely. He just doesn't get the right connection, does he, on it?
Long ball over the top. Here is Auer again on the edge of the Switzerland penalty area. Exchanges passes with Bentaleb and finds the pink-booted Belghali. Mahrez again scored 2 excellent goals against Austria. Fine low finish from across into the penalty area for his first, and then a goal that took absolutely everyone by surprise, with the game drifting towards a 2-2 draw, both Austria and Algeria going through. No one told Mahrez that a draw was the agreed end result, because he put us in the bottom corner, and that was sending Austria out for a few minutes.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Because it just looked like they were both just keeping the ball. There was no real sort of intent from either side, but yeah, Mahrez had a different thing on his mind, didn't he?
He certainly did. And for a moment, Algeria were going through to play Spain in one of those weird World Cup quirks. A win for Algeria and you play Spain, draw and you play Switzerland. And Austria did equalise, and this is why we are here as Zarouki bursts into the penalty area. Wants the penalty. That's a very optimistic shout for a penalty. Referee and the assistant who was close by had absolutely no interest in that. And what we have seen in this World Cup, Sue, is consistent refereeing on the most part when it comes to those sort of infringements. It's very rare that you see something like that given as a penalty.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a penalty. It's a good run from Zarouki in those midfield areas. He makes those well-timed runs into the box. No foul.
No foul on Zakaria either, and Mazza has it. Mahrez lifts it over the top. Auer takes up the running angle of the penalty area. Now back to Fariz Shaibi, who will also roam into those centre-forward positions with the lack of a recognised striker. Algeria have made the more eye-catching start as we hit 8 minutes in Vancouver.
Yeah, they look really good. They're moving the ball around well, and Switzerland are in their shape. We know that they're very well structured off the ball, and I think what Algeria are doing well is it's good switches of play. They're trying to draw Switzerland out and then move it quickly, but all of them very comfortable on the ball. Certainly had the better start.
Algeria, one of the best third-place finishers in Group J. Switzerland topping Group B ahead of Canada. They've had a solid tournament after a disappointing 1-1 draw in their opening game against Qatar, where they dominated the game, missed several chances, and then conceded deep into stoppage time a Mira Muheim own goal, which just dampened the enthusiasm after what had been a good start, but a very convincing 4-1 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina was followed up by a 2-1 win against the co-hosts Canada. And there is great hope that after 88 long years they can finally win a knockout game and progress to the last 16, where again their opponents will be one of Colombia or Ghana, both good teams in their right too, but there are certainly heavier hitters in the World Cup than that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think, you know, watching this game, you feel that both teams will think that they can, you know, progress to that and keep progressing further. I'm just watching the challenge earlier, you know, where Algeria wanted a penalty. It's Akanji, and he just does so well. He just defends, you know, brilliantly. I think the referee spots it. He's in a good position, just uses his body strength, doesn't he? There's no way that that's a penalty, and the ref called it early.
He did, and there was no need for VAR to intervene after they were heavily utilised in the previous game. That dramatic win for Portugal over Croatia, but dominated by a very late VAR call. And you can read about it all and look at the controversial decision on the BBC Sport website and app. VAR denying Croatia a very late equaliser for offside. Switzerland looking dangerous, really, for the first time in this game, but it's Manzambi taking on Belgali and Mondi into the penalty area, plays it across, and Mbolo taps it in, and Switzerland have the early lead. Manzambi front and centre again, a brilliant assist, and Brian Mbolo at the front post to turn it home and give Switzerland the early advantage in Vancouver.
Well, it's been all Algeria, hasn't it? And it's against the run of play, but Switzerland won't care. We spoke about Manzambi and the quality that he's got, how exciting he is when he picks the ball up. And it's just a quick breakaway. We know that Switzerland are good at that, but he's driving forward down the left-hand side, Manzambi. You think they're going to put a challenge in, and then it's just lovely quick feet, gets himself to the byline, pulls the ball back to Mbolo, who's in a good position centrally, and he just passes it into the net. Really good play from Switzerland.
That is exactly where you want your centre forward to be, and that is exactly the run you want one of your most dangerous players to make. Breeze past several challenges. It looked like he'd overrun it, and then the poke across goal, and Mbolo with his left foot turns it home. Yeah,
and I think this is the problem with Algeria. It's great when they go forward, they commit players, but they do have gaps, spaces that they leave when they do commit those players forward, especially in those channel areas, and that's exactly what Manzambi, he just exploits that. But like you say, that there's a big touch out of his feet, and you think it's just going to go out for a goal kick, but he manages to just poke it round with his left foot to Mbolo, and he's just in a brilliant position. He's not going to miss from there.
His 26th goal for Switzerland on his 90th cap. His second goal of this World Cup, having scored Switzerland's first from the penalty spot against Qatar. His celebration, he sits on the floor, big beaming smile, and it's given Switzerland a very good start in this game, considering that really that was their first foray forward after Algeria had had the better of the opening 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and I think that's what Switzerland will think. OK, we'll let Algeria have the ball. We're quite happy with that. We'll stay in this structure. And as soon as we win the ball, we're going to break, and we're going to try and expose those spaces that they leave, and that's exactly what they did.
And if that is a taste of things to come, then Johan Manzambi will be a very welcome addition to the Premier League. But we know we are fully in silly season with transfer rumours, and you only have to have a quarter of a good game and you're probably linked with half of the Premier League.
So true.
Algeria looking for a response. They had dominated the ball and they'd been moving it about quite nicely, had created that opening opportunity that Auer completely missed. And they've gone behind early enough in this game that they won't be too concerned, given that they fell behind twice against Austria and twice came back to level. Eight Nori, cross was blocked almost at source. Freuler tidies this up now. Zakaria with some decent defending, plays it against Eight Nori, and Switzerland have this throw in their right back position.
Yeah, Algeria will certainly not be concerned about going behind. Like you say, they've showed that character and that resilience to come back in previous games. It is still early on, and they've got key creators that can make things happen, and we've already seen that in this game.
Character and resilience, actually a very good way of describing Algeria through this tournament, because they were 1-0 down against Jordan in the second game and had to come from behind to win that against the World Cup debutants. Had they not picked up a win there, then they'd be going home after game 2. So they've had to battle from worse positions in this World Cup, and they've looked good so far, even though they're behind. Auer space to shoot, and just like his previous chance, he doesn't really hit it, and that squirms safely through to Kerbal, and the score remains 1-0 Switzerland.
Yeah, they still look the better side, Algeria. They look dangerous when they go forward. Ours picking up nice little pockets of space. He's on the left-hand side, but sort of drifts centrally, just knocks it infield onto that right foot, and it opens up for him to shoot. But yeah, the shot's just scuffed. He doesn't, you know, get any sort of power or real connection on it like he wants to.
Mbolo with good strength and a good touch to bring Ndoye into the game, who's approaching the edge of the Algeria penalty area. That was Premier League on Premier League, Ndoye on Ait Nouri, and it was the Manchester City left-back who came out on top. His ball forward, though, should be comfortable for Rodriguez to bring goalkeeper Kerbal into the game. First competitive meeting between these two sides. They played a couple of friendlies back in the 1980s, Switzerland winning them both. They would have been just about favourites for this game, the more established World Cup side, and they had the more impressive group stage. And even though they have the lead, Switzerland, Algeria certainly have been the better. Manzambi's touch is heavy, but he gets through a challenge. He's back into the position. He got the assist for the goal, this time to the back post, and Ndoye's touch, throwing her across goal. The right foot shot towards the front post was from Zakaria, the right back, finding himself in the centre of the penalty area. Well, that was another decent opening for Switzerland. Didn't quite have to finish the build-up play deserved.
No, absolutely not, and they probably should have done better, but it's Manzambi again, isn't it, that's involved in the play. It's a heavy touch, but he's so direct, wants to drive at players, looks to exploit any sort of space. But it looks like he's down here, Chris. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah, in the midst of all of that, as he made his progress to the penalty area, he burst through a challenge. It was a heavy touch, then got the lucky ricochet, players swarming around him, and then as he chips it in, difficult to see what actually happened to Manzambi, but the chance was certainly there for Zakaria.
Yeah, it was, and actually Ndoye should have done better as Manzambi plays the ball across to the far post. And Ndoye probably could have hit it first time on his left foot. He doesn't, takes a touch, and the touch is big, but Switzerland managed to keep it alive. And then when it falls to Zakaria, he's got himself forward into a central area. Again, he's maybe just off balance, he's falling backwards and can't quite get the touch. I think he's just winded.
It certainly looks like that, doesn't it? Because he's on his feet now and walking back towards the dugout. It was from his loose touch, and then he actually burst through the initial challenge, but the ball was played, as you say, Sue, right into his midriff, so he's indicating now that he's maybe just a little bit winded, so he'll be okay.
Yeah, which is a real positive for Switzerland, because already he's looked so lively in this game. Yeah, it just ricocheted up, and it's clearly just hit him in the tummy area. But yeah, he looks fine.
Has been a big discovery for Switzerland. Only made his debut last year. Got a goal and an assist on his debut against USA, so very much a sign of things to come. Was sent off twice last season for Freiburg, so he was all action, Johan Manzambi, both in front of goal, but also when things weren't going his way. Did pick up a little bit of a reputation for being a bit of a hot head, so wherever he ends up next, he'll be very exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's difficult because you don't want to take that away from him, that sort of real desire, but it's just about making sure you keep it under control.
He is still waiting to come back on. The minute now that players have to take out of the game when they receive treatment on the field, which must feel like an awfully long time when you're standing stationary on the side waiting to come back on. It's a good initiative though, isn't it? I think we all approve of it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, it stops people going down feigning injury, doesn't it?
Algeria, once again, are moving forward with great fluidity. Lovely skill. Ait Nouri away from Zakaria into the penalty area. Cross with his left foot. Didn't really have any conviction on it, but still there for Algeria. Mazza, right foot shot. That went through the traffic. Was blocked by Zakaria this time, but that would have certainly had Kerbal scrambling across his goal. Mahrez now delivers into the penalty area. A stooping Akanji deals with that. Mbolo, had he looked up, Manzambi was away. He was desperate for it, Manzambi. Now comes short to ensure he has an option to play back, and that's exactly what he does. Well, a couple of things there, Suhat. That ball being played early, Manzambi was through, but Algeria creating decent openings again.
Yeah, Ait Nouri's been excellent on the left-hand side. He's playing more like a winger. He's high and wide, while the wide players come in more central, and yeah, just lovely bits of skill. He's been good defensively, but he's been really effective going forward. But you're absolutely spot on. If they'd have spotted Manzambi, he was on the shoulder, there was space in behind, they just didn't pick him out.
Xhaka's on the ball here, wearing number 10, and he plays it riskily back to goalkeeper Kerbel, who'd made a move to his left. Xhaka's ball was to his right, but luckily for Switzerland, the ball didn't have too much pace on it. Switzerland might have been a little bit peeved to see Xhaka in the transfer headlines, with Chelsea and Xabi Alonso seemingly sniffing around the Sunderland midfielder. It's the kind of distraction that maybe they could have done their captain not being involved with. Interesting to see what the end result of all of that is, because certainly the noises from the Chelsea camp and the Xhaka camp is that's a move that both would like. For Sunderland, that would be a huge blow, given how impressive he was last season.
Oh, he was one of the best signings, wasn't he? He just came into that Sunderland side and he was just like the coach on the pitch.
Auer, decent control. Zakaria bundles him to the ground. Referee quite happy with that, and actually there's no real complaints from Auer, so that's a Switzerland goal kick.
But yeah, just going back to Xhaka, I think, you know, Sunderland fans will be really disappointed with that rumour, and it's something that he doesn't want. He doesn't want that distraction. He just wants to focus on the World Cup, because he just has that experience, that leadership for Switzerland, but also for Sunderland. But you can understand why teams like Chelsea are sniffing around.
Well, he was excellent under Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, that incredible season that Xhaka, Alonso and Leverkusen enjoyed, winning the domestic double. So he's a player that Xabi Alonso really likes. So we'll see how that saga unfolds. Zakaria defending in his right-back position, and I don't think that'll be a free kick either, because that's almost exactly the same situation that occurred a couple of moments ago. So Algeria putting good pressure on Switzerland, who now have a throw to defend very close to the corner flag.
Yeah, they're really pressing high, Algeria. They're trying to stop Switzerland from playing out from the back, and they don't just do it in ones. It's really orchestrated.
Switzerland 1, Algeria 0. BBC Radio 5 live. Hydration break a few minutes away as Switzerland win a free kick, and during the break we'll hear some of the late drama from the Portugal-Croatia match. If you are getting up, heading to work, and have missed the overnight action, it was a very controversial end in Toronto, the Portugal-Croatia game. So we'll hear some of that drama and bring you an update from FIFA on the offside controversy. We do enjoy a FIFA update on some controversy, so stay tuned for that. Kanji, right-hand side of the centre circle, swings it over to the left. Rodriguez wins the header. Vargas back to Rodriguez again, and now Xhaka with his left foot. Manzambi, always involved, feeds it down the touchline. Rodriguez crosses, deflection on that cross, and Switzerland win the first corner of the match.
Yeah, they worked it well there, Switzerland, keeping the ball well in those central areas. Then they get the ball out wide onto the left-hand side, and the delivery, there was players in the box to aim at. Algeria managed to just get that first touch and put it out for a corner. But yeah, good build-up play from Switzerland there.
So this corner, far side, the Switzerland left. The pocket of fans behind the goal in which Switzerland are attacking are predominantly of an Algerian persuasion. We can see their white and green shirts. Rodriguez with the corner. Bentaleb sends it commandingly out of the penalty area. Vargas will pick up the loose ball, but now he's very close to his halfway line. In fact, goes all the way back into his own half, and Freuler rather will probably go all the way back to goalkeeper Gregor Kerbel. So Algeria deal with that safely enough. Xhaka on the edge of his penalty area. Smooth pass through centre field. Manzambi with his long hair, bouncing, tall figure, and already looks well built for 20. He certainly looks like, if he is to end up in the Premier League, Sue, that he'll have the physicality to cope with a very physical league. Yeah,
I think sometimes that's what you look at, isn't it? You go, well, yeah, you can see their talent, you can see the potential, but physically, are they strong enough? He certainly looks like he will be. He looks a real talent. I think any club that's linked with him, the fans will certainly be excited. Mondi goes long for Algeria. The run from Shabi was well-intentioned, and Shabi indeed puts his hand up to say that's the sort of service I want, but needs to be a little more accurate than that as Akanji strides out of defence. Vargas plays it just behind the ponytailed Rodriguez, bun very tightly tied behind the back of his head. Here's Manzambi again on the angle of the
penalty area, and Xhaka can bring Akanji into the game, who is right in the heart of the Algeria half. 8:20 local time, so floodlights shining brightly down at BC Place, Vancouver. The roof is closed. Is a very chilly 14 degrees. Vancouver is not one of the venues where the heat is oppressive. And here is Zakaria on the right of the penalty area, wins a throw for his side, ignoring the way of his cross.
Yeah, Switzerland are having a good spell at the moment. They're keeping the ball well, they're working it out wide. We know that they like to do that and get deliveries into the box.
Yeah, after 20 or so minutes where Algeria have seen most of the ball, Switzerland have had the better of the last 5, and they still have that 1-goal advantage given to them by Breel Embolo, made by this man, Manzambi, who is cropping up absolutely everywhere in his red shirt. Rodriguez, first touch was a good piece of control, and then his left foot shot is dragged across the penalty area, and that is out of play for a goal kick. And it's the drinks break of the game, now met with your usual obligatory boos, and the players will come to this near side to get some drinks on board. So Switzerland 1, Algeria 0. Earlier on 5 Live, Portugal beat Croatia 2-1 to book a last 16 tie against Spain, so that's one to savour. But that far from tells the story. Croatia denied an equaliser in the 13th minute of stoppage time after a VAR check. Let's hear how that moment played out with Matt Upson and Jonathan Pearce.
In comes the cross, it's headed on, it's a chance for Croatia, it's bundled into the net, it might even be an own goal. It's celebrations for Croatia, that's for sure. They're checking for offside.
Yeah, it looked offside on that first touch.
This is the referee now.
Croatia player number 20 touched the ball and headed to the goal scorer. Final decision, offside.
Won't count, it won't count, and Portugal will be through.
Here we go. We're looking at a replay here. Can we guarantee he glances that? I tell you what, I actually cannot. I don't think the ball changes. The spin on the ball doesn't change. That's all I know. I don't think he touches that ball.
It's then glanced on by Vega, turned square by Paslic into the back of the net. That is massive.
That's the first angle I've seen of that. And I tell you what, I'm not convinced he touches that ball at all.
There will be major ructions after this, I would imagine.
Incredible.
Incredible, the word Matt Upson used there too. We came in and saw it, didn't we? And the clips are all on the BBC Sport website. I'll bring you FIFA's update in a moment on it. It's full of technical jargon, as you might expect. but it was, if it was a touch, it was a tiny hair of a touch.
Yeah, do you know, I've watched it numerous times, and I still can't see if he does get a touch. You know, I don't think it's conclusive. It's very difficult to see. So there's going to be a lot of people, I think, will debate this, and the debate will go on. So quite interested to hear what FIFA have got to say.
I'm glad you asked, because here it is. According to the data provided by Connected Ball Technology, with a capital C, B and a T, housed within the ball, it was proven that contact was made by Croatia's Igor Matanovic in the build-up to the goal against Portugal, allowing the referee to correctly determine offside and disallow the goal. Sensors within the ball are capable of determining any slight contact and allow officials an unprecedented level of data to make fast, accurate decisions. And if you're a follower of cricketer, it's basically the SNICO graphic that we saw, and they tallied up the pictures to SNICO, or Connected Ball Technology, and there was a little spike. So we can add Connected Ball Technology to goal line technology and semi-automated offsides. So it looks like the right decision was made, but if you're Croatia, and listen, that was to draw level, so who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
But that's a really tough way to go out of a World Cup.
Oh, it really is. You know, you think you've equalised, you see the celebrations, and you see that they think that the game's going to go on, and then it gets ruled out. Yeah, they must be absolutely devastated.
BBC Sport website and app if you'd like to have a look, and you can make your own mind up. It was quite a game by all accounts, so the highlights available there as well. Back underway in Vancouver. Switzerland 1, Algeria 0 in this round of 32 games. Switzerland in front inside the opening 8 minutes of the game. Breel Embolo's second of the tournament, made by Manzambi's excellent run down the left. Algeria have had the better of the ball, and they've created little openings without really testing Gregor Köbel, but Switzerland have also carried their own threat. It's been a decent first quarter as Zarouki plays it square, and now Mazza, you feel Algeria will need to involve Mazza in the game a little bit more than they have done, but we are back into the pattern, Sue, that we saw in that opening 25 minutes, and that is Algeria keeping very good possession. Yeah,
it's very much the same way. And I think when you look at Switzerland, I think what I like about them is that balance that they've got. They've got the youngsters, they've got the energy, the flair, but they've also got those experienced heads in there, haven't they? Your Akanji, your Xhaka, your Rodriguez, your players like that. And I think at the moment that's just really helping them. But yeah, Algeria certainly pushing and keeping the ball well as they did. It's just that final end product that maybe's lacking.
Aït-Nouri and Ben Sebaini with a couple of touches deep inside Switzerland territory. Belgali to Mahrez, who wanted a touch more movement in front of him, and it's all the way back to the right of the centre circle. So many little touches in centre field for the white shirts of Algeria. Morny goes for the big switch, and he hits that well. Aït-Nouri's touch, instant. Now running at Ndoye, who has the better of him on that occasion, standing up tall to Aït-Nouri, who now is battling back and tries to win the ball, and does so, but does so illegally, shoving Ndoye to the ground. Switzerland have this free kick.
It's actually been a really good battle, hasn't it, between those two, Ndoye and Aït-Nouri, and that moment in time, Ndoye got the better of Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri has had the better of him on numerous occasions as well, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch that as the game progresses.
Had a stop-start season with Nottingham Forest, didn't he, Dan? Ndoye didn't really establish himself in the Nottingham Forest starting 11, albeit did play under, what was it, 4 managers, possibly 5 managers, and he'll have another one next season with the departure of Vitor Pereira confirmed yesterday. Looks like Oliver Glasner's going in there, which I think has raised a few eyebrows. So it's not just players involved in transfer rumours. There will be lots of managerial appointments confirmed over the next few weeks, you'd suspect, in Nottingham Forest. Never too far away from a new manager. Looks like there will be a new one there. Well, there will be a new one there, given Vitor Pereira's departure. Switzerland moving the ball from right to left, and now very close to the left touchline. Xhaka with the captain's armband. 150th cap for Granit Xhaka. What a player he has been for Switzerland, their most capped player. Manzambi to Rodriguez, who is their second most capped player. He is 9 behind Xhaka. Good progress into the penalty area comes Switzerland with a ball across goal. There are plenty of Algeria players back to defend that, however, and it's hacked out of play for a Switzerland throw.
That's actually really good play from Vargas. He's twisting and turning, manages to get himself into an area. He just can't find the man in the box. He tries to toe poke it forwards, but yeah, Algeria deal with it defensively well.
They've got more defending to do here. Manzambi into the penalty area. Lovely feet again. Across comes Bentaleb to stop his progress, and then Belgali is fouled by his counterpart in a number 17 shirt. 17 on 17. Belgali fouled by Vargas, and that will be an Algeria free kick as we watch the replay of Vargas twinkle-toeing his way into the penalty area. Very similar position, wasn't it, to where the goal came from, but on this occasion, no one in red willing to take on, or at least not in a position to take on the shot.
Yeah, but it's good play from him, like you say, twinkle toes, he's twisting and turning, and he just can't quite find his man when he gets to, you know, the position out wide. But yeah, good play again, and lively play from him.
Algeria's goal kick downfield. Morny wins a header on halfway. Mahrez with the big acrobatic volley. Hopefully hit to this near side the left, where Aït-Nouri bundles into the back of Ndoye. He's got to be a little cuter than that, Ray, and Aït-Nouri. One of those situations that we see often on a football field. Ndoye was under pressure, and he waited for the contact. Had a little look to see where Aït-Nouri was, put his body in between ball and player, feels the contact, goes down. But what you would say, Sue, is that Aït-Nouri made that relatively blatant.
Yeah, he did, but it's clever play, isn't it, from Ndoye? He knows exactly what he's doing there. He knows that Aït-Nouri's going to come in. It's just shield the ball, get your body in the way. As soon as you feel a touch, go down and win your team a free kick.
Switzerland beginning to assert their dominance on this game. Mbolo's touch looking for Manzambi, who felt he was pulled back. Not sure he would have got on the end of that ball anyway, so we play on with Lucas Zidane. Angles a right foot ball over halfway. Rodriguez wins that header. Bit of head tennis breaks out. Mazza can't control. He's been quiet for Algeria, and you wouldn't be at all surprised if the score remains 1-0 going into half-time with 11 minutes of the first half to play, whether Vladimir Petkovic, who appears on our screen looking very smart in his suit with the white trainers, you wouldn't be surprised if there are half-time changes and a more recognised striker comes on, maybe just to stretch the Switzerland back line a little more. Yeah,
I think so, because a lot of the play, they're looking to come to feet, aren't they? I know they've got pace out wide and they will stretch the play out wide, but just that central sort of focal point, if you like, it's an option. It's a way to change things. I feel like the tempo's maybe dropped a little bit from an Algeria perspective, and like you say, Switzerland have, you know, they've got that dominance now, so yeah, may need to change things at half-time, but he's got the option to do so.
62-year-old Bosnian manager Vladimir Petkovic lost just 2 of 13 major tournament games in 90 minutes for Switzerland when he was in charge. So often Switzerland get through the groups, then run into a more established side and often get taken to penalties, but they have a pretty dismal penalty shootout record. We know in Euro 24, England beat them on penalties. Algeria go long. That's dealt with by Akanji, but picked up by Mahrez, just outside the Switzerland penalty area. Mahrez, our square. Oh, Shabi lets that run across his body, and that wasn't a wise decision because Manzambi was lurking behind him. And now Manzambi goes from Switzerland half to Algeria half, and suddenly on the edge of the penalty area, and wins a free kick. He's going to get himself a yellow card himself here, I think, because he brandished the imaginary yellow in the direction of Ferris Shabi, who brought him down. Now, Shabi does get the yellow card, but the referee was right on top of Manzambi, who quite clearly brandished the imaginary yellow. But I think he's got away with that one.
Yeah, I think he has got away with it. I think it's Shabi, isn't it, that's got the yellow for that. But again, Manzambi just takes the pressure off his teammates. He wins the ball back in his own half, and he just drives with the ball, and straight away, again, there's no one around him, no Switzerland players that he can link up and play with. So he just wins his team a foul, and this is a dangerous position now for Switzerland.
And as producer Nathan, with his eagle eyes, watches on, Algeria were making that point to referee Yael Falcon Perez from Argentina. I'm amazed he missed it because he was standing right next to him. Anyway, no yellow card for Manzambi, but Shabi is into the book, and Switzerland have this dangerous free kick. Angle of the penalty area. Vargas is over it. With his right foot, he'll deliver towards the back post, and headed only just wide by Elvedi. Zakaria was there as well, and by the look on Zakaria's face, he got the final touch on that.
Yeah, I think he did, and it's a good delivery into the box. Elvedi's just in between two defenders, and you can see as I can see as the ball goes up. Oh, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I think both players sort of get a touch on it. It just goes wide of the far post.
Yeah, it was Zakaria's touch, but there's lots of pressure there. Zarouki's putting Zakaria under pressure. Zidane didn't have a save to make, and wide by a couple of yards. Switzerland 1, Algeria 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. 2 more games to bring you tonight from the round of 32. Australia, Egypt, 7 o'clock UK time, followed by Argentina, Cape Verde at 11. Cape Verde, who have been one of the stories of the World Cup, but if they are to continue their journey and beat one of the favourites, Argentina, then that probably will be the story of the World Cup. Switzerland with the dangerous Manzambi striding forward, but that's a poor pass from his behalf inside the penalty area, looking for Mbolo. Algeria, though, looking a little bit loose in their attempts to clear, but now smoothly stroke it out to Auer on this near side, the left. Give and go, he is felled by Ndoye, and that will be an Algeria free kick deep inside their own half.
Again, it's a decent bit of play from Switzerland. Manzambi and Mbolo involved in it, and it's just maybe a lack of sort of communication. Mbolo goes to make the run out wide, the shoulder of the Algerian defender, and you can see Manzambi wants it to feet. Doesn't quite work this time.
Mahrez with a delightful ball outside of his left boot. looking for the run of his right-back colleague Belgali. Switzerland see that danger off. Xhaka into midfield, and Ndoye's touch, lovely 1-2, and Ndoye will keep this move progressing to the left. That was neat and tidy from Switzerland. Vargas now heading towards the penalty area with no great pace, so it's all the way back with Xhaka on halfway, and Akanji can find his centre-back colleague Nico Elvedi. Four shadows for company as the floodlights shine down. Direct ball into the penalty area. Algeria head that away. Zakaria with a clever ball. Ndoye, right-hand edge of the penalty area. Ball into the front post. Embolo turns it goalwards off a defender and wide. Asamondi in the way of that. He feels he was fouled. Referee again has no interest in that and awards Switzerland a corner.
Well, Algeria just don't clear their lines, and it comes out to the right-hand side, and Ndoye has got so much time and space. He takes a couple of touches, gets his head up, and he's looking to get it into the area to Embolo, who's trying to get across his man. It's actually good defending in the end. He gets the shot away, but it's blocked and out for a corner.
Has become a key player and leader in the Switzerland side. Breel Embolo, plenty of goals in Liga A for Rennes. And Switzerland have this corner. They lead 1-0. 5 minutes to play in the first half. Corner headed away powerfully by Bentaleb at the front post, and then the clearance further completed downfield. Elvedi wins a header on halfway. Akanji flicks it forward. Algeria have a chance for a laboured counter-attack with plenty of Switzerland players forward, but the ball is almost stationary inside the Algeria half. Bentaleb finds a little gap and then pings a good-looking pass to the right, where Mahrez, always keen to cut back in on his left foot, does exactly that. Bentaleb base of the centre circle, Mazza centre field, Auer further forward. Mahrez wants it on the right, waits and receives. Back in field again on his left foot. He's reluctant to take on Dan Ndoye. Maybe Mahrez of 10 years ago might have done that. Ben Sabaini, though, finds Mahrez. Rodriguez wins the header, and Algeria now have this corner. They move that around nicely, Algeria, and have now forced a corner.
They did, and that's exactly what they were doing in the early part of the first half. They were trying to switch the play from right to left and shift this Switzerland defensive unit out, and they do that and get with themselves a corner. Now it's about, can the delivery be right?
Former England international Sue Smith with us on 5 Live, watching Switzerland 1, Algeria 0. Algeria looking to change that unopposed header away from Akanji. Algeria nearly give it away in midfield, and in fact the drilled pass to this near side is way over the head of Mazza. Bentaleb is down inside the Switzerland penalty area and looks like he might need a little bit of treatment, although he gets up now. And we see a replay of why he went to ground, runs into Rodriguez, but there's not a huge amount there.
No, not at all. Yeah, Rodriguez, he's got his arm out and sort of stopping Bentaleb, but definitely not a penalty. Certainly looked at.
And there we see again the 1 minute deterrent in full force, because I wonder in previous days whether Bentaleb might have stayed down there knowing he'd only be off the field for 30 seconds, but because it's a minute, he got himself back up relatively quickly. Let's hope that comes into the Premier League. That's just a FIFA initiative for this World Cup, but it's certainly a rule I think we'd all like to see domestically. Manzambi with another loose touch. A couple of those now he's had where he's looked dangerous into the penalty area, and then just his final touch is just a little bit loose. Mahrez now wins a free kick from Manzambi on halfway, and this will be an Algeria free kick.
Yeah, he's still learning, isn't he? And there's certain things like that was just a big touch out of his feet, which allowed the defender to come in and win the ball. But what I liked about him was he got back and defended it.
Free kick, long, Auer into the penalty area. Chance for Shabi, onto his right foot, and his shot saved by Kerbel. Maybe got a little deflection on its way through, but that's a rare glimpse of goal for Algeria, certainly in the last half hour or so. Auer made it well, lovely touch into the box, and Shabi had space to shoot. Like a few of Algeria's efforts, not quite the contact he quite craved.
No, and it does take a slight deflection, which I think takes a bit of pace off the ball, but it comes again from the switcher play centrally out to the left-hand side. Auer does so well, and then when it falls to Shabi, good touch onto his left foot, and again, doesn't quite get the power on it, but the deflection then takes the power off the shot straight to the goalkeeper, but a chance.
Well, the statistics tell a tale of a tight game. Both have had 2 attempts on goal. Switzerland have had 1 more attempt, full stop. The most important statistic is the scoreline, which reads Switzerland 1, Algeria 0 on 5 Live. and BBC Sounds. Lots of sport to keep across over the coming days with the British Grand Prix and Wimbledon all across the BBC Sounds network. Shabi into the penalty area, offloaded. Aït-Nouri now inside the box. Auer, dink to the back post where Belgali waits. Couldn't quite get on the end of that. For a moment it looked like he was in business, but the ball always drifting just beyond him.
Yeah, but they're finishing the half strong, aren't they, Algeria? There's so many Switzerland players back in their own box trying to defend everything, and Algeria shift the ball around quickly, 1 and 2 touch, and then it's just a dink to the far post. Can't quite keep the ball in play to keep it alive, but again, good defending from Switzerland, good defensive shape.
6th World Cup in a row for the Swiss. High expectations that they can win their first knockout game in 88 years, and they are more or less halfway to doing that. But Algeria have certainly shown that they carry more of a threat, and still with firepower to bring off the bench. Ben Sebaini, the tall Borussia Dortmund centre-half. Mazza also plays in the Bundesliga, towards Mahrez, who'd made the run across the back line. All a little bit frenetic in midfield, and then Vargas puts a big right boot through it, and it goes all the way to goalkeeper Zidane, who has to keep his eye on that, bouncing awkwardly towards him, but he does just that, and rolls out for Issa Mondi to start Algeria moving slowly from the back again. 10 seconds of the first half to play. Haven't been too many stoppages, so we'll get the obligatory 3 at least for the hydration break, maybe another one to deal with the goal celebration, so possibly 4, maybe 5 minutes. Aït-Nouri's give and go with Auer doesn't work out, and it's out of play for a throw, and indeed we are into 4 minutes of stoppage time.
It's not your first rodeo, this,
not my
is
first
it?
rodeo, this, Sue. I've been here at 4:45 in the morning before. 1-0 Switzerland. Algeria, can they find this goal before half-time? Not with passes like that. Mondi straight out of play. Shabi just behind him, and Switzerland have this throw. And on the balance of the first half, Sue, you'd say actually that maybe Algeria deserve to be level based on how they've looked going forward, but Switzerland, with the one real chance they've created, have taken theirs.
Yeah, I think it's been quite a tight game, hasn't it? And
Mazza cutting in field, but then really poor pass across the penalty area. That's cleared by Rodriguez. Embolo interested for a moment, but Zidane will tidy this up for Algeria.
Yeah, you would say a draw would probably be, you know, the right result at half-time, but yeah, Algeria maybe just, well, they've lacked when they've got into those shooting positions. They've just not been clinical enough, whereas Switzerland, when they got that chance, they took it well. A very even game, which is probably it's what we said, wasn't it, at the start of the game, it was going to be like that.
And it certainly has panned out that way. Mazza, right-hand edge of the penalty area. Algeria going from right to left in this first half. Mahrez with the switch of play. Ben Sebaini again, well advanced inside the Switzerland half, outside of his left foot to bring Aït-Nouri into the game. Back to Ben Sebaini again, wants a little bit more movement in front of him, was hoping for the diagonal run, it didn't come. Instead it smoothly hits out to Mahrez again, still reluctant to take on his man. Infield to Belgali, all of this on the angle of the penalty area. Mahrez crosses, Bentaleb misses it, Auer's there, and so too is Mazza, and they rather get in each other's way. The shot from Mazza in the end is a couple of yards wide, but there was space inside the Switzerland penalty area there.
Oh, there really was. It's good play again from Algeria. Mahrez picks the ball up on the right-hand side, cuts in onto his left foot like he likes to do. It's a good delivery into the box. It's centre of the goal, and Auer sort of just knocks it down, and then Mazza with the shot again just scuffs it. They've certainly got themselves into great shooting positions, just not being clinical enough.
This is not completely unfamiliar territory for Algeria in their group, where they were beaten quite convincingly by Argentina 3-0. Lionel Messi's hat-trick, you might remember, feels a long time ago now, doesn't it? The first round of group games. This is match 85 of the World Cup. 3-0 defeat for Algeria, and then they were 1-0 down against Jordan at half-time, but then came from behind. 2 goals in the second half. 2 goals from corners, actually. 2 players on the bench currently. I mean, Guiri got the winner, and that was after Ben Bouali got the equaliser for Algeria against Jordan, and then they were twice behind against Austria, and they twice came back to level. Belgali for 1-1, and then Mahrez for 2-2. So they won't be panicking just yet, Vladimir Petkovic's side. 40 seconds of the first half to play. Manzambi, who's been front and centre of everything Switzerland have done well, won't win the throw there. And how ambitious will Algeria be here with 30 seconds of the first half to play? Zakaria wins a challenge in midfield. Nuri hoofs it hopefully forward. Akanji's cushion volley. He'll get another chance here. No, Jacques is in the way of that, and Elvedi will play it all the way back to goalkeeper Gregor Kerbel. We can see a few of the fans leaving their seats to grab a half-time refreshment at BC Place in Vancouver. And there is the half-time whistle from referee Yael Falcon-Perez. Switzerland 1, Algeria 0. Breel Embolo's second goal of the World Cup. In the very early stages of this game, 7 minutes in, Johan Manzambi made it with an excellent his cross. Embolo turned it home. Algeria have certainly been the better in possession. They've created half chances. Shabi with a right foot shot into the goalkeeper. Mazas have an effort inside the penalty area as well. Auer likewise. They haven't really done enough though, Sue Smith, to test the Switzerland goalkeeper, and it is the Swiss that have this narrow advantage.
Yeah, it's been a good first half. I think it's been quite a tight first half. Switzerland have done well in terms of keeping their shape, and when they broke forward, they've looked dangerous and created opportunities. Algeria have had those chances and just haven't found that bit of quality in front of goal. It really wouldn't surprise me if they make changes in the second half, add that focal point up top. They've been very fluid in those attacking areas, but you just feel they need somebody that's maybe going to stretch the play, somebody that's going to be that target man up there. So he's got options to do that, and I potentially think he'll do that.
Switzerland have only lost one of their previous 9 World Cup matches in which they were leading at half-time, which doesn't bode well for Algeria, albeit, as mentioned, they have already come back to win from a half-time deficit in this World Cup, beating Jordan by 2-1. So we shall see, Laura, what the second half brings, but at half-time in Vancouver, Switzerland 1, Algeria 0.
Thank you very much, Chris, Coles and Sue Smith. Thank you very much. We will return to Chris and Sue for the second half of Switzerland versus Algeria very shortly, but the time is coming up to 4:51. Let's get the latest news headlines here on BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK and the FIFA World Cup 2026.
The families of 2 girls who were raped in Hampshire by 2 14-year-old boys say they are relieved that their attackers have now been sentenced to 4 years in detention. The boys, who are now 15, had originally avoided custody, but today the Court of Appeal ruled their community services had been unduly lenient. Sir Keir Starmer has apologised for the state's role in the forced adoption of tens of thousands of babies in England and Wales between the 1950s and 1970s. The Prime Minister called it a stain on our history. A man has been pulled alive from the rubble in Venezuela over a week after 2 powerful earthquakes hit the country. Hundreds of rescue workers from 7 countries worked for more than 100 hours to save Hernan Gil, who was found trapped underneath the rubble of a multi-storey car park. And unconfirmed reports in the US media suggest that the pop star Taylor Swift and the American football player Travis Kelce may have already married in a private ceremony. Preparations are underway in New York, where a rehearsal dinner with celebrity attendees is due to take place tonight. Well, at the World Cup, Gonçalo Ramos grabbed a 94th minute winner after Cristiano Ronaldo had scored his first goal in a World Cup knockout stage as Portugal came from behind to beat Croatia and progress to the last 16. 2-1 that ended. We'll continue live commentary of Switzerland versus Algeria here on 5 Live very shortly. Switzerland leading 1-0 at half-time. But for now, let's get the rest of the day's sport with Shabnan Yunus-Jewel.
Spain are through to the World Cup last 16 after cruising past Austria 3-0. Mikel Oyarzabal scored twice and right-back Pedro Porro was on target too with his first international goal. Spain last won a knockout match at the tournament when they became world champions back in 2010 and will next face either Portugal or Croatia. You can catch up on all things World Cup related at 12 p.m. later here on 5 Live and head to the BBC Sport website and app for news and highlights. Cricket and England have reached the Women's T20 World Cup final after beating South Africa by 40 runs. 23 for 3 thanks to a superb innings by captain Nat Sciver-Brunt and Heather Knight, sharing a partnership of 133 from 90 balls. And then England bowled brilliantly to put their place in Sunday's final against Australia. Tennis, and Arthur Ferry is the only British player to reach round 3 at Wimbledon after beating Finland's Otto Virtanen. Jan Chowinski, Jacob Fernley and Katie Swan all lost their second round matches. Defending women's champion Iga Swiatek made it through alongside second seeds Elena Rybakina and Alexander Zverev. Meanwhile, there was an emotional victory for 35-year-old Grigor Dimitrov, who knocked out 15th seed Jakub Menšik. And in rugby union, George Furbank will make his first England appearance in nearly 2 years in Saturday's Nations Championship opener against South Africa in Johannesburg. He lines up in a back three with Caden Murley and Emmanuel Feiwaboso, with Tommy Freeman partnering Seb Atkinson at centre.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the UK. On digital radio.
On BBC Sounds.
And ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio 5 Live.
As we approach 5 o'clock, let's find out what the weather's got in store for us today. Here is Louise Lear.
Good morning. This weekend is shaping up to be a very warm story across England and Wales, if not hot in the southeast. But weak weather fronts will topple across an area of high pressure and continue to feed some cloud and showery rain across much of Scotland and Northern Ireland. And that's the story we've got for today, really. A north-south divide across the country. There'll be a little more in the way of cloud across Scotland and Northern Ireland. Relatively dry, a few scattered showers to the far northwest first thing. But as we go through the day, there'll be some showery outbreaks of rain that'll move into Northern Ireland and western fringes of Scotland by the end of the afternoon. Top temperatures 14 to 20 degrees. Best of the sunshine and warmth in eastern Scotland. For England and Wales, it will be a dry, settled and sunny start, lighter winds than yesterday. And with that sunshine, it'll be pleasantly warm with highs of 22 to 26 Celsius. Now, as we go through Friday night into the early hours of Saturday morning, the showery rain will continue to move east across northern England and clear away. Saturday will be a cloudier day generally for many, and with some coastal mist and fog out towards the west. We continue to see a feed of isolated showers across northwest Scotland, sunny spells elsewhere, highs of 15 to 21 degrees in Scotland and Northern Ireland, 24 to 28 Celsius elsewhere. There is the potential from Sunday onwards into England and Wales for heatwave conditions to start to build as we see dry, settled, warm, if not hot weather continuing to dominate. Louise Lear, 5 Live Weather.
Immerse yourself in the sounds of summer.
Quiet, please.
Crowd settles out here on centre court.
Here we go. Returns to the forehand, and that's a beauty.
Stunning backhand volley.
Slice forehand.
Backhand into the middle of the court.
He's trying to win it here. And he has!
Join us down at SW19 for Wimbledon 2026.
The two embrace at the net.
Continues today from 1.
Ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live.
The voice of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
With Laura McGee.
Hello there, this is indeed Laura McGee. It is half-time between Switzerland and Algeria in the last 32 of the World Cup in Vancouver. Switzerland currently leading 1-0. Mbolo tapped in the opener to give the Swiss the lead in the 10th minute. So the winner will play Colombia or Ghana in the next round. Let's speak to Paul Serras again. He's going to be back to give us his thoughts on this game. And Paul, what do you reckon so far? Do Switzerland deserve their lead?
They do, yes. I think they're one of the breakthrough young players of the tournament. Johan Manzabi created that goal for Breel Mbolo. He has been the difference, really. He's been outstanding in that first half. Indeed, he's been outstanding in the tournament so far. Breel Mbolo, with that goal, becomes the first Swiss player in history to score multiple goals at multiple World Cup tournaments. He got 2 in 2022. That's the second of this tournament. So that makes 4 overall. Manzambi's on 3. I just feel Algeria just keeping their powder dry for now. I think they're seeing plenty of the ball. They know, I think they're just sort of working out where they can hurt this Swiss side in the second half. Switzerland, though, have had the better of the opportunities and good value for that lead at this half-time break, Laura. But I just feel that there's a bit more to come from this Algerian side in the second half.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, that they have shown enough going forward in the first half to suggest that they probably can still get back into this match.
Well, you know, they are an experienced team. They know that they cannot win this game in the first half. They cannot guarantee their place in the last 16 in the first 45 minutes. But if they try to play too expansively, they can certainly lose the game in the first 45 minutes. So it's conservative from them. It's probably in keeping with the way that they play. They're quite a conservative team. They're the sort of team that would rather sort of beat you by a goal than and guarantee their spot in the next round than try and open things up and entertain and maybe forfeit that place in the round of 16. We said earlier that they made the knockout stages just once in their history. They've got a real opportunity to do so. And you just said, Laura, the winner of this will take on the winner of the Colombia-Ghana match tomorrow. I mean, it's Colombia, a really, really good side. Ghana have shown that they've got plenty as well. But in a round of 16 in a World Cup, they are the kind of fixtures that you would be happy to accept before a ball is kicked. So not only is, we spoke last week, didn't we, about, it's not just when we were talking about Scotland, it's not just about getting into the next round when there are 32 teams making it into the knockout stages of this World Cup. Is about positioning yourself well in the group stage to be able to run deep into the tournament. Unfortunately for Scotland, they weren't able to do that. But either of these two winners here, and also either of the winner, whichever team wins that match between Ghana and Colombia, will really fancy their chances in this half of the draw until Lionel Messi and Argentina turn up in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, it seems like absolutely ages since we were talking about Scotland at the World Cup.
It does indeed. Hopefully it won't be another 30 years before we're talking. Hopefully we'll be retired by then, Laura.
Well, yeah, exactly. Hopefully I'm not talking about anyone at a World Cup in 30 years' time, to be honest with you. Hopefully I'm in my bed at this time.
Exactly.
You mentioned Johan Manzambi a little bit earlier. He has been very impressive. 20 years old. It does frighten you a little bit, doesn't it? And he has been making some of those Algerian players look pretty worried.
He's got that combination of sort of intent. He never looks to move sideways or backwards. He's always perpetually moving forwards, and when a player is doing that, and he's got that sort of languid style, those long legs, he can really eat up the ground, and he can turn defense into attack so quickly. And this World Cup is really transitional. You're seeing players play on the half turn rather than a forward with his back to goal, looking to receive the ball and maybe play off to a midfielder. He's on the half turn already, looking to move. So the game is more transitional in this competition than we've seen in international football for a long time, which is when players like Johan Manzarbi really come into their own. Players that can pick up a ball in defensive areas and drive at the opposition and really push them back and look to create space on his side of the ball. And he's been brilliant at being able to do that. And against aging defenses, I mean, he's terrifying. He's the kind of player that terrifies defenses, because who picks him up? Do you leave him to a midfielder? Do you step out and try and close the space and leave space in behind? He creates questions, and he's the kind of player that can really dominate a game like this. And if he plays the same way in the second half, Algeria may have missed an opportunity here.
Yeah. Just briefly to finish up on, this is not necessarily what's going to happen in this game, of course, but we were talking a little bit earlier after Portugal's win over Croatia, and that last minute goal that ended up being disallowed. But I think it's now 9 in 12 games where there's been a goal in the 85th minute or later. It's been an incredible number of late goals, which has been fantastic for the neutral, hasn't it?
Of course, yeah, great drama. It's that game earlier for Croatia. In fact, the highlights are just on at half time of the game that we're covering here. It's just excruciating. I know that somebody at the end of these matches has to go home and somebody goes through, but in that manner, it's just excruciating. Yes, it adds to the drama. Yeah. Maybe I'm getting a bit old and a bit soft, Laura, but it just feels like a painful end for Modric.
Exactly, yeah. Some of these players that are maybe out of the door when it comes to.
He's had an amazing career, Modric. He's had an amazing career, but that golden generation for Croatia, they've missed out, haven't they? I mean, they've missed out on a major trophy in that time. So
we're going to have to leave it there. I know that we could chat all day and all night, but we'll have to leave it there because we better let the listeners have the second half of this game. We
Absolutely,
will hand you back.
Can't wait.
Yes, to Chris Coles and Sue Smits for the second half of Switzerland versus Algeria.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Laura. Yes, quite an end in Toronto to that Portugal-Croatia game. If you are just waking up and wondering what the overnight fuss was all about, Portugal through to play Spain, but that only tells a fraction of the story given the late VAR drama. And if you've never heard of controlled ball technology, well, you have now. What drama lies ahead in Vancouver? Switzerland 1, Algeria 0 after an engaging first half. Briel Embolo's goal 7 minutes into the game, separating the two sides. Algeria, though, certainly offered a threat up front. They'll need to test Gregor Kerbel in the Switzerland goal more than they did if they want to get back into this game. But at 1 goal down, they will certainly not feel they're out of this, and having come from behind already in this World Cup, beating Jordan by 2-1, having trailed by 1-0 at half-time, this is not a situation they are unused to. Switzerland in red, now going from right to left in this second half. The red shirts, red shorts, red socks with the white numbers, and Algeria all in white with the green trim. Kicking from left to right, plenty of space for Freuler inside the centre circle, and even more space for Zakaria on that right-hand side. Low cross in that has Ben Sabaini in the way, but then his pass out is poor. Low ball across the penalty area. Belghali's clearance only to Ndoye. Switzerland have the early second half goal. Dan Ndoye into the corner. A fine finish, but Algeria defensively very questionable, but the finish was anything but. A narrow into the corner, and Switzerland now take full control of this round of 32 game in Vancouver. Switzerland 2, Algeria 0.
Well, what a start to the second half for Switzerland. It's exactly what they would have wanted. It's good play from the right-hand side. The delivery into the box, first of all, gets part cleared. They don't defend it good enough, Algeria. Then the delivery comes in again they don't quite clear it. When it falls to Ndoye on the edge of the box, it's a really good composed finish into that far corner. I'm just watching the celebrations. You can see how much it means to him, but Algeria will be so disappointed that they just don't clear their lines. They play it to Ndoye. It's a brilliant first touch with his left foot that just sets him up for the shot, and then the right foot finish, he just uses his instep into that far corner. The goalkeeper gets a hand on it, but there's enough power to take it past him. Lovely side foot finish, just places it, doesn't he?
He does, and big celebrations off the bench. What a time to score in the opening minute of the second half to give Switzerland daylight. And Algeria had 2 opportunities to clear. The ball out from the back from Ben Sabaini initially was short, and then when the cross came in, Belghali's clearance should have been better, straight to Ndoye. As you say, Sue, little touch from goalkeeper Zidane, but there were lots of bodies in between Ndoye and the goal. Maybe he was a little unsighted. And now Algeria, who already had plenty of work ahead, well, that workload has only increased. 2 goals behind.
Yeah, they need more, don't they? They need more in those attacking areas. We've saw them get into promising positions, just not quite found that clinical touch.
Ndoye's 9th Switzerland goal, winning his 35th cap. He missed plenty of chances in the opening group game against Qatar, but he has taken one in Vancouver, and it was a fine finish into the bottom corner. So, 5 Live, BBC Sounds, good morning to you if you are getting in your car and heading to work overnight. Portugal beating Croatia 2-1 in Toronto, so Portugal will be playing Spain. What a interesting last 16 game that'll be. And barring an Algeria comeback, it'll be Switzerland against one of Colombia or Ghana back in Vancouver. Switzerland are very much embarking on the journey that Canada should have been. Had Canada topped Group B ahead of Switzerland, then they would be playing this game against Algeria in Vancouver and the next in their homeland. But Switzerland beating Canada in the last group game, they top Group B. They're in Vancouver now, and it looks like they will be staying in Vancouver. Algeria keeping the ball at the back. Mazza, who was very quiet, the young star Leverkusen's Mazza, plays a good ball out to Belgali, though, on the right of the penalty area. Belgali's low cross. Here's the chance for Mahrez. Left foot drive that was blocked by a combination of Akanji and Zakaria. That was Algeria's moment. Excellent ball, Belgali, and Mahrez hit it pretty well as Switzerland's counter-attack comes to an end because Mazza needs some treatment. But Algeria need more of that if they're to get back into this game.
Oh, they do. The space opens up for Belgali on the right-hand side. Takes a couple of touches and then just spots Mahrez, who makes a late run centrally. He's completely unmarked, but again, he just doesn't quite get the shot with enough power like he wants to. He tries to side-foot it, and then I think it just comes off. I think it's Zakaria, isn't it, that it comes off, and again, then it's saved by the keeper. But good, quick counter from Algeria, but just need more. Just when they get themselves into those positions, they've just not tested the goalkeeper enough.
Mahrez scored a very similar goal against Austria when he arrived late at the back post. That was from the other side. He was coming onto the ball with his left foot against Austria. On this occasion, he was letting it come across his body, but Zakaria with some good defending to keep the score at 2-0. Switzerland. Mazza is okay, but will have to spend a minute off the field now. No changes for either at half-time, so Kerbal is the Switzerland goalkeeper. He's all in blue. Zakaria, Elvedi, Akanji and Rodriguez. The back four, Freuler and Xhaka, and then Vargas, Manzambi, Ndoye and Embolo, the two Switzerland goal scorers. Embolo in the first half, Ndoye in the second. And for Algeria, Zidane, the goalkeeper, Belgali, Mondi, Ben Sabaini, Aït-Nouri. The three in midfield, Shaibi, Bentaleb and Zarouki, with Aouar, Mazza and Mahrez. No recognised striker up front for Algeria. Marseille's Amin Gouiri, who has started all three of Algeria's group games, is the recognised number 9. You suspect we might be seeing him sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I think so. That when you look at Algeria in those forward positions, they keep rotating who is in that central position, and a lot of the time they're coming deep to feet. Maybe just need somebody that's going to stretch that Switzerland back line a little bit more. I'm just watching now, it's ours in that central position, but Mahrez was in there earlier. So you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to just interchange positions to draw that Switzerland defence out, but yeah, maybe just not quite working. Maybe need to change something. Well, they do. They need to get back into it.
Still time, but if Switzerland get a third, real trouble. And Manzambi was lurking on the edge of the penalty area. The ball to him was well cut out, and maybe Algeria can move forward on the counter-attack. Zarouki backwards of square. Mahrez has space in which to operate. Flicks the ball to Ferez Shaibi, a couple of yards in from the touchline. Ndoye with some good defending, and Algeria have this throw midway through the Switzerland half.
I suppose the argument to what I've just said is the fact they are creating chances, they're just not finishing them off. So that might be what the manager thinks. Well, actually, we're getting into those positions. We just have to be better in front of goal.
52 minutes in, 5 Live in BBC Sounds. So still plenty of time for Algeria. The usual cliche at 2-0, Sue, is the next goal, isn't it? And Algeria have to get that next goal.
Yeah, you know, it is the cliche, but it is so important, because you think if Switzerland score, game over. Algeria, it's game back on.
Should mean for a more open game. Not that the first half was tight and cagey. There were chances, but Algeria now, the onus very much on Vladimir Petkovic's side to put more pressure on the Switzerland back line. Despite the possession Algeria had in that first half, the saves that Gregor Kerbel had to make were very much of the straightforward variety. Ben Sabaini for Algeria, who are building slowly from the back. Maundy back to his centre-back partner, and now to Rayan Aït-Nouri, Manchester City's Aït-Nouri. Rolls the ball a couple of times with his left boot, and back to the pink-booted Ben Sabaini. They're moving it across their back line. Zerouki down the line, Belgali from right back as well forward. Mahrez gives the ball away, and Vargas can hopefully move Switzerland forward. All a little bit loose and untidy from both sides, and Algeria have this throw halfway line.
Yeah, both sides losing the ball, a little bit scrappy in those last couple of minutes, but when you watch Switzerland, they're very much a team, aren't they? Both on and off the ball, you know, they move together when they go forward, when they're defending, they very much defend in groups. You can see they're very well coached.
88 years since their last victory in a knockout game. They've been eliminated in each of their last 7 knockout games at the World Cup. They tend to get through their group, no problem, but then they run into the better sides. They came close in 2006 in Germany when they lost to Ukraine. After a 0-0 draw, they went out on penalties, but since then the calibre of opposition has tended to be quite high. They went out to England in Euro 2024, also in Germany. But they are 2-0 up against Algeria. Switzerland 16 in the latest FIFA World Rankings, and Algeria 29. So they would have started this game as favourites, and they now have an excellent cushion and platform in which to record their first knockout win in 88 years. Inter Milan's Manuel Akanji plays it smoothly across his penalty area. Freuler turns in midfield, and he's got space to find Zakaria, who wanders into Algeria territory. Freuler again, and now Elvedi. And for Switzerland, Sue, they don't have to force the issue now, and in fact they're doing pretty well keeping the ball and finding these little pockets of space. Manzambi with a pass to this near side, the left, where Vargas tiptoes towards the edge of the penalty area. Manzambi again, a sudden burst of tempo. Ball was slightly behind Rodriguez, but it is all Switzerland now who are keeping the ball very smoothly and in a very controlled manner.
Yeah, they are. Really good spell of possession, just keeping it, and then Manzambi gets the ball and suddenly there's a change of pace.
Can't trick his way past Belgali, though, who watched that all the way. Gets a loud cheer for his efforts, but then runs into Vargas and does win Algeria a throw with 56 minutes played. 2-0 Switzerland. Still no sign of any Algeria changes, so Vladimir Pekovic, for now, is quite happy with the 11 players out there.
Yeah, I think he is. I'm just watching Switzerland and how they were really controlling things there, and I think Xhaka is so pivotal in that. He just dictates the tempo. He knows when to slow it down. He knows when to speed it up. It's so good having a player like him in those midfield areas at a stage in the game like this when you just need to keep the ball, keep it away from Algeria.
That's exactly what Switzerland have done in the last 5 minutes or so. 11 minutes into the second half. That second goal just after the break could prove pivotal in this round of 32 match on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Mazza in field, intercepted by Embolo, who scored Switzerland's first very early on in the game. 7 minutes in, Xhaka is then felled by Mazza, and that will be a free kick to Switzerland deep inside their own half. 2 more games to bring you later on BBC Radio 5 Live, with Australia and Egypt getting underway 7 o'clock UK time. Ailey Barber and Chris Sutton with you for that on 5 Live. That's also on BBC One. So as always, hit the red button and you can sync up 5 Live's commentary with the BBC television pictures. Here's Ndoye, fraction of space on the edge of the penalty area. Vargas in on the angle, onto his left foot. Vargas for 3-0! Blazes it across the penalty area. No one there to turn home. May have been better off going for goal himself there. Maybe went for the cross. No takers. And it remains 2-0 Switzerland.
Oh, it's a chance for Switzerland. I think he was caught in 2 minds, and Ndoye does well initially centrally. He has to slide in to try and win the ball to Vargas, and he picks it up on the left-hand side. It's a lovely little step over, takes it onto the outside. I think he's caught in 2 minds. Should I have a go for goals? Should I play it to Embolo, who's coming in centrally, and doesn't do either. He just completely over-hits it, and the chance is gone.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. He went for the cross with the power that he should have gone with his shot, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 Algeria changes, and unsurprisingly, Amin Griddy is on the field now. Algeria's recognised number 9, and Joan Adjam is on as well. Hassim Aouar is off, and Ramiz Zarouki. So that's a striker for a centre midfielder, and a left-back for an attacking midfielder. So maybe a switch in the Algeria changes here with Joan Adjam, who is left-back. So perhaps that means Rayan Aït-Nouri is just going to play a little bit further forward.
Yeah, which he has done on a lot of the game. He's been trying to keep the width and play quite high, but this is just an option now to go very high.
And there's a chance straight away for Adjam, who is quite far advanced, so perhaps it's the other way around. We'll see how this develops. Obviously very early stages, possibly Adjam playing further forward and Aït-Nouri at left-back, but certainly the way Adjam is accelerating back down the field, I think he is slotting in at left-back, and Aït-Nouri, as suspected, will be playing a little bit further forward, which is no real surprise, given a player of his talent.
Oh, he's got so much quality. We've seen it in spells today, but he has got the ability to just be that match winner, whether that's a key creator or a finisher. It's like Mazra will probably be playing in and around Goury as well.
Plenty of goals in France. I mean, Griddy, these days of Marseille, 65 goals in 202 league games across spells with Lyon and with Nice and with Rennes. Scored the winner against Jordan in Algeria's middle game of their group. Aït-Nouri then playing as a left winger, loses his footing, and Zakaria takes it off him and then shrugs Adjam to the ground, almost like a rugby union palm off, and Zakaria now to the edge of the penalty area. He's got Embolo to his right, low ball in, is played behind and out for a corner to Switzerland. Bentaleb very unhappy with someone in an Algerian white shirt. Switzerland, though, look dangerous again, and with an hour played in Vancouver, they have another corner.
Yeah, Algeria, they're furious there, because I think they're saying, how have you allowed Zakaria to run that distance without putting a challenge in on him? He just glides past a couple of players and then manages to get the ball into the area, and it's a corner again, a dangerous position for Switzerland.
Rodriguez with his left foot deep to the back post. Zakaria is interested, but that's over his head. Well watched behind by Aït-Nouri. Algeria goal kick, and they trail 2-0.
Yeah, they just overhit the corner there. Zakaria's coming to the far post. Who he was aiming for, he would just then look to head it back across goal, but yeah, overhit the corner.
Bentaleb striding forward for Algeria, has to shake off the attentions of Embolo, knocks it down the line but drifts out of play. Switzerland throw midway inside their own half on the right. Second half hydration break not far off, and during it we'll be hearing from England's Mark Gay with Mexico to look forward to in the last 16. That'll be some occasion. That is just a game so dripping in World Cup nostalgia at the Azteca. All of the issues with altitude and all the rest of it. Mexico, who have breezed through the competition so far, yet to concede a goal, playing against England, fancied for this tournament, beating DR Congo. That'll be some game to watch, even if, or listen to, of course, on 5 Live, even if it is at 1 a.m. Mazza can't squeeze his ball through, and Switzerland have the ball back again in their back line.
Yeah, absolutely. As an England fan, I'm a little bit concerned. I think they've showed the quality England, haven't they, going forward, but defensively, I know they've struggled a little bit. And yeah, the altitude, there's a lot of things, you know, not conceding Mexico, so it's certainly an interesting matchup between the two.
Certainly will be. 1 a.m. kickoff at the Azteca, early hours of Monday morning. Bentaleb chips it down the line. Mahrez will scamper onto this. He will get there in front of Rodriguez. All happening very close to the corner flag, and Rodriguez against Mahrez. And that will be a throw to Switzerland as we get a view of the assistant referees' backs. Some people quite like the names on the back of the referee's shirt. Others feel it may have gone a little bit too far, but it's a nice memento, isn't it, for referees and assistants to have their names on the back of the shirt. Not quite as pronounced as players' names, but they're in small writing at the base of the neck.
Yeah, like you say, it's a nice little memento for them, isn't it?
I think so. Embolo bringing the ball clear for Switzerland. They lead by 2-0, and we played 63 minutes on 5 Live. Also available via the BBC Sounds app. Australia, Egypt to come later today, 7 o'clock. And then Argentina, Cape Verde, which is an 11 o'clock kickoff. Half the battle in this World Cup has been keeping across the various kickoff times. I'm pretty sure every single time has been allocated with a kickoff time, all the way through from 7 o'clock in the evening to 4 a.m, 5 a.m. There's a half 2 a.m. kickoff to look forward to in a day's time with Colombia, Ghana. That's a new one.
That is a new one.
Maundy on the edge of his own penalty area. The pace of the game has just noticeably dropped off here, and you can credit Switzerland for that, for just shutting down the game. They lead 2-0, still 25 minutes plus to play, but Algeria are not playing with the same fluidity that maybe they showed in the first period.
No, it's exactly what Switzerland want. They're very structured off the ball, and they're just keeping it. When they do get it, Algeria, it's now up to them. They need to up the tempo.
Bentaleb's dummy. Mazza was hoping to move that further forward, but once again Switzerland in centre field. Move it to Vargas, who's crossed, deflected off Maundy, and out for another Switzerland corner. Who know, if they get this third goal, that is them surely into the last 16.
Yeah, and I think that's the trouble for Algeria, isn't it? They've got to commit men forward now, even more so, to get themselves back into the game, but that is leaving spaces for Switzerland to exploit on the counter.
Switzerland fans behind the goal that they're attacking. There are many of them in Canada, and there are many of them inside BC Place, Vancouver, and they are very happy with what they've witnessed so far. Referee thinks the ball is not in its quadrant, and he probably has a point, even though he's a long way away, so Ndoye moves it fractionally back. Correction, Vargas, his corner into the front post. Elvedi's header was of the free nature, and he maybe should have got better contact on that. Referee is blown for a free kick nonetheless, but well, that looked a good chance for Nico Elvedi.
Oh, it's a real chance for Elvedi. It's a good delivery into the box, into the near post area, and he makes a run to that near post area, gets across his man, and just can't quite get any contact with his head. It just sort of glimpses off it, doesn't it? Glances off it.
Yeah, and then the referee blew for a free kick, I think, in the skirmish following that header, rather than anything untoward in the build-up to that blocked header. But that was a half a chance for Switzerland for their third goal of the game in Vancouver. Algeria, as is their way, continue to knock the ball around with minimal fuss. Bentaleb centre field, onto his left foot. Square it goes to Maundy, on one more to Mahrez. What can he do from his right wing home? Mahrez, clever ball, but Belgali was just on his heels. Mahrez actually apologises. Maybe the ball was a little bit overhit, and it's out of play for a Switzerland goal kick, and it remains 2-0 Switzerland against Algeria with 66 minutes elapsed.
Yeah, he does just overhit it, Mahrez. It's the right idea. He's up against Ndoye. There's a couple of little shimmies to try and take Ndoye on. He doesn't. He just goes then for the pass for the run of Belgali. But yeah, it just overhits it.
Lots to look forward to across BBC Sounds in the coming hours. It is the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's a sprint weekend as well. So practice one is on Sports Extra from 12:25, and that'll be followed by sprint qualifying at 4:25. Cricket over on Sports Extra 2. The women's T20 Blast Blaze against Surrey at 2:25, and then the men's T20 Blast Notts against Lancashire, the Outlaws against Lightning. That's at 6:15. And Wimbledon continues across BBC television from midday, and also on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Gigi Salmon for us from midday. So Switzerland 2, Algeria 0. We've hit our second half drinks break, and the game hitting a little bit of a lull prior to that. So let's hope this drinks break will just reignite it. With live commentary on 5 Live to come, early hours of Monday morning, England's last 16 tie against Mexico. John Murray and Paul Robinson live in the Azteca. Mark Gay has been speaking to the BBC in the last few hours about how prepared England are for the altitude of Mexico City.
We did training last year with altitude, so I think we went to Spain, did a bit of testing for that, just in case this game popped up, and here it is now. So, you know, I think credit to the FA, credit to every single person that's working behind the scenes. helping us to prepare for moments like this, and hopefully it does make a difference.
How tough was it?
I actually didn't do it. I wasn't there at camp, but.
So have you not done it before?
But we've done a little bit of the testing here as well, so I think everyone's prepared in any way. Yeah, it's tough, but it's definitely beneficial and it helps for sure.
The manager said it's a clear advantage for Mexico, but can you do anything else, or is it just a case? Are England going to have to change the way they play?
I don't think so. I think we need to be careful and maybe adjust and tweak a few things. I'd say Mexico are probably favourites, the fact that they're doing so well in the competition and they're on home soil playing at the Azteca. They'll have the fans behind them, so it'll be a big challenge for us, but one that we're up for and ready for.
Mark Gay in conversation with Kelly Summers ahead of England's last 16 tie against Mexico, which you can hear on 5 Live and BBC Sound's 1 a.m. kickoff Monday morning. That there has been, Sue, plenty of talk about altitude, and it will be interesting to see if England do change the way they go about things. Mark Gay, he doesn't necessarily think so. I wonder what they will think is the best way to break down clearly a very good Mexico who are yet to concede.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because obviously they want to play, Tuchel wants them to play high energy and high pressure, high pressing the opposition, lots of forward running. You just think with the altitude, will they slightly change things? Will they slightly adapt things? Mark Gay there just mentioned that they will have looked into it. The FA will have provided them with, as much sort of, I suppose, training to be able to adapt and adjust to that. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see what they do and will they slightly tweak things in terms of the way that they play. So, yeah, we'll have to see, but it's going to be a tough one.
It'll be fascinating to see what transpires Monday morning. Vancouver is witnessing a couple of changes here. In fact, 2 changes apiece for both nations. Switzerland 2, Algeria 0. We've got 20 minutes to play, which will be probably 25, 26 by the time added on time is factored into the equation. Switzerland's changes first. Vargas is off, Ruben Vargas, and Fabian Rieder is on, who has featured quite heavily in Switzerland's opening 2 group games, didn't play their final group game against Canada. And also off is Johan Manzambi, and Noah Okafor is on. Leeds forward Noah Okafor, who's had a checkered past with Switzerland, having fallen out with Murat Yakin after Euro 24 and then effectively retired. However, had such a good season for Leeds that Murat Yakin went to visit him in Leeds, and the two of them had somewhat of reconciliatory talks, and Okafor was recalled back into the Switzerland side. But this is his first appearance in the tournament. He was nursing a bit of an injury, so Noah Okafor is on to win his 26th cap. So Manzambi and Vargas are off, and Rieder and Okafor on for Switzerland. And for Algeria, Riyad Mahrez is off, the captain, with 20 minutes to play. So too Nabil Bentaleb, and Hisham Boudaoui and Anis Haji Moussa are on, and that is pretty much like for like. Boudaoui, centre midfielder for a centre midfielder, and Anis Haji Moussa, who plays on the right wing, who is a very exciting attacking midfielder for Feyenoord. Algeria on their way, moving forward on the right of the penalty area with Belgali. That's not a clever challenge, and a yellow card out immediately. Was a little bit loose there from Zerouki, who went clattering into Granit Xhaka, who is in some pain clutching his left shin. That wasn't a pretty challenge, and in fact it was Boudaoui, so his very first involvement in the game was to go clattering into Xhaka.
Yeah, and you know, it's a poor challenge. He's really late. I think thankfully for Xhaka and also for Boudaoui not to get straight sent off. He goes in, he dives into the challenge. His feet initially are high, but then they come down, and I think where the connection is, it's sort of knee on knee with Xhaka, and I think that's why it hurts Xhaka so much, and he's down and getting treatment, and it is only a yellow card.
VAR, of course, will be looking at all of this in the background. Granit Xhaka with grass cuttings on his forehead, sticking to his forehead because of his sweat. He's looking angrily at the referee. He feels that should have been a harsher punishment. Some introduction for the game for Hisham Boudaoui. He'd only been on the field 20 seconds.
Yeah, and I think they've clearly said to him, go on, make an impact, make sure you're getting into tackles, be strong, but yeah, he just completely mistimes that one. You can understand Xhaka being frustrated with it, but I think a yellow card is the right decision.
Certainly no further action necessary, according to VAR. Granit Xhaka on cap number 150.
I know I keep going on about Xhaka, but how good has he been?
For Switzerland and Sunderland, he's had an excellent season. I only hesitated there because I noticed that on my notes, my autocorrect has changed his name to Grant Xhaka. So he's down as Grant Xhaka on my notes. Autocorrect wasn't liking Granit. 2-0, Switzerland lead with 17 minutes to play in Vancouver. Switzerland have done a very good job in this second half of just shutting Algeria down, and they need Algeria, these changes, to take effect. And ideally, as far as they're concerned, they need this goal as quickly as they possibly can to give them hope in the last 15 minutes. Zakaria bulldozes his way through a couple of challenges, finds Reader, his first involvement in the game. Great ball across goal, loose clearance again, and the shot from the edge of the penalty area was really well blocked before goalkeeper had to make the save. It was Reader's effort on the edge of the penalty area, having initially made the opportunity. He was there very nearly to capitalise, but a decent piece of defending as Boudaoui wins the ball in midfield for Algeria. He is one of the top runners in Ligue 1. No one ran further than him domestically in France last season. Boudaoui, who plays his football for Nice, and Switzerland have it back in their back line. Half a chance there.
Yeah, it was a good move again from Switzerland. I just think they've been so mature in the way that they've played in this second half.
Nouri in the number 10 position. He's being moved forward to left wing after Ajam's introduction. Ben Sabaini, centre circle, moves it quickly on to Mazza. Not been as effective as he has been in the opening 3 group games. Now Musa, step over, right edge of the penalty area, wins the corner off Rodriguez, who was coming across to cover.
Musa does well on the right-hand side. It's a step over, and then he touches it off the defender, knows that he's winning it, his team a corner, and little kiss of the ball. He's hoping that he can put a delivery in now. He gets his team back into this.
When they came from behind against Jordan, Algeria, they scored 2 goals from corners. They badly need one here from a corner. Musa's delivery headed partially away, and Rodriguez will thump it further downfield. Goalkeeper Zidane meets it on the volley, only onto the head of Embolo. Now Musa, near side the right, well challenged by Rodriguez, who went to ground very early. Now the little drag back from Noah Okafor, who will be delighted to have some minutes in this Switzerland side. We were speculating beforehand so as to why he hadn't appeared in this World Cup, and we can only put it down to injury. Embolo on the end of a ball, nearly on the end of a ball through from Reader, but Algeria tidy that up with relative ease, and now moving forward again. Ajam with a nice ball through a gap. Guiri has possession, not said his name too much since his introduction around 10 minutes ago. Boudaoui striding forward, long hair bouncing behind him. Musa picks up the ball, approaching the angle of the penalty area. Right-hand side, another step over, angle to cross, dummies. Now place it back to Boudaoui. Patient this from Algeria as they move it from right to left across the edge of the Switzerland penalty area. All the way on the left-hand side now. Shabi infield, Ajam, right foot shot. Was it a cross? Whatever it was. It wasn't particularly well hit and flies out of play for a Switzerland goal kick, and they continue to lead 2-0.
Yeah, it's just not good enough, is it? He picks the ball up on the left-hand side, he cuts in, and I don't know if it's a cross or a shot. It's neither, really. There's options in the box, options at the far post. You've got to try and pick a man out. He just gets underneath it, goes way over the bar.
Time beginning to run out for Algeria, who concede a free kick inside Switzerland territory. Xhaka is glaring at Belgali. He's fired up his Granit Xhaka. Not too happy with the challenge that Boudaoui put on him a while ago, and now Belgali is rattling his cage.
He's just so experienced, though, isn't he? He knows how to wind players up, but then just step away. That's exactly what he did there, but he's just controlled everything in the middle of the park. You can see he is that coach, that leader on the pitch, communicating with everybody around him. just his quality that he has.
He has played a huge part for Switzerland over the years. His 7th major tournament, Granit Xhaka, but he's never experienced a win in a knockout game. 88 years the last time Switzerland won a knockout game at the World Cup. But they are very close to breaking that hoodoo. With 12 minutes to play in Vancouver, you're with 5 Live and BBC Sounds. They lead by 2-0. A goal early on in the game and a goal early on in the second half. Xhaka wearing number 10. Creator in that centre of midfield. Rodriguez errantly forward. Okafor yet to get his first touch of the game. Goes in for a slide challenge on Belgali. That looked like a free kick. Referee waves play on. Algeria still have the ball, albeit not in a great position, and Belgali does go down now. Might have just been able to hear his cry of anguish as Okafor put the slide challenge in, but Belgali quickly to his feet, and Algeria have this throw.
Yeah, and it was a foul. The referee didn't give it initially, they give it for the second one, but Okafor obviously trying to come on and have that impact, press from the front, and yeah, it's a slide challenge that's just a little bit mistimed.
It was very difficult to get a gauge on where Algeria stood at this World Cup. They breezed through qualifying, albeit the 8 games they won out of 10 were against teams that were considerably lower ranked than they were in the FIFA World Rankings. They were 7 points clear of a group that their nearest challengers were Uganda and Mozambique. That's the kind of measure of the quality that they faced. Perhaps the biggest gauge of their true level came in last year's AFCON, when they made it to the quarter-finals but lost to Nigeria rather disappointingly. Switzerland inside the Algeria box. Right foot shot from Mbolo, and he got way underneath that, and that flies off his right boot into the crowd.
Yeah, he's sort of smiling but frustrated at the same time, because again it's a chance, yet he's outside the area, but just it's laid to him nicely. I think it's Ndoye just lays the ball to him onto his right foot, and you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to just curl it into that far corner, but gets completely underneath it and goes way over.
Looks like Nadir Ben Bouali, Algeria's only true target man, is about to come on. They need something, and truth be told, they haven't created anywhere near enough, especially in this second half, to trouble Gregor Köbel in the Switzerland goal. And the European side are so in full control of this game. Algeria actually not putting any pressure on the ball, so Akanji is very happy at walking pace just to keep it inside the centre circle. Now to this left-hand side where Reader waits. Infield to Okafor, whose touch was heavy. That's won by Musa, who has shown a couple of decent touches. Then a lovely turn away from Reader. Wants the free kick, doesn't get the free kick. Okafor square. Xhaka outside of his left foot to find Zakaria. 1-2. Zakaria into the box. Low ball across. Tap in Reader. No, he's missed it. Somehow he's missed it. Glaring opportunity for Switzerland to win the game. An open goal. 6 yards out, but he plays it straight against Zidane, and that really should have been 3-0 in game over.
Oh, wow, I've no idea how Reader's missed this. I was actually going to say he's done really well since he's come on. He's made a real impact, but it's good play on the right-hand side. Zakaria gets the ball across the box. Mbolo goes for it. Doesn't quite get there. The goalkeeper's scrambling. It's an open goal, isn't it? At the far post, and Zidane manages to get himself up after initially missing the first chance and put it in, but with his left foot, he just tries to side foot it into the net, but it's straight at Zidane. Oh, he's gutted.
And so are the fans watching. Can't really believe he's missed that. Switzerland 2 up, but that really should have been game over. Adil Boulbina is the man who has come on, so Ben Bouali's been told to sit back down. Direct and quick winger. Just the kind of person that Algeria need in this situation. Fabian Reeder's only scored once in his 30 caps, and with a finish like that, maybe we can see why.
But he has done well as well since he's come on. He's been looking to get on the ball, he's been creative, he's been winning the ball back, getting himself in good positions, but he will be thinking, how have I missed that?
Chances like that don't come on long too often in World Cup knockout games. Switzerland making another change. Burnley's Zeki Amdouni is on. Missed most of this season with an ACL injury, but came off the bench to play Burnley's last 4 Premier League games. 25-year-old, and he's on to play the final 7 minutes here. Switzerland 2, Vancouver 0, Algeria 0 in Vancouver. Embolo is the man off who scored Switzerland's early goal. A goal that was well made by Manzambi and well finished by Embolo, who takes a seat next to Johan Manzambi. So the two main Switzerland protagonists in this game have very much done their jobs. And Embolo, who's looking up at the big screen, looking at himself, will be pleased with his night's work and pleased with his second goal of this competition.
Yeah, I think they've both played well. I think they link up well together. Sorry, I just nearly stopped them because you could see Switzerland were closing down the goalkeepers are down, and you just wondered were they going to win it back. Manages to get it away.
Mazza looking to turn some shrewd defending into some dangerous attacking. But another move breaks down on Algeria's left flank. Ben Sabaini, the centre-back for Algeria, will play it to Mondi under a little bit of pressure. Then Mondi's ball back isn't great. Hesitation from Ben Sabaini, who thought Zidane was tidying that up. Reader was close to it, but Algeria play their way out of defence. Not in the most controlled manner you'll ever see, but effective enough in the end. And Boudaoui can bring it further clear. Shabi over halfway. Ajam on the left-hand side. Algeria playing with quite slow tempo. Bear in mind that they need a goal. They need two of them to force extra time. Musa, who has looked dangerous, give and go on his left foot with Ajam, but Switzerland in the way of that. And it drops out of play for a goal kick. And certainly on the evidence of the second half, Switzerland look like they will be very comfortable winners of this game and are through, if it stays this way, to play either Colombia or Ghana, who meet in the early hours of tomorrow morning, 2:30 kickoff. And the winner of that will play the winner of this back in Vancouver. And the expression on the Algerian fans' faces, very forlorn, very somber. It mirrors the image of Vladimir Petkovic. And isn't it funny how football operates? 7 years in charge of Switzerland, guides them through to World Cups and Euros, guides them through the group stages, never makes it out of the competition, never makes it past the last 16. And yet Switzerland on the verge of winning their first knockout game in 88 years against an Algeria side managed by Vladimir Petkovic.
Yeah, no, you're right. And football does bring up these sort of stories, but yeah, I've been a bit disappointed with Algeria in this second half. I thought in the first half they came out and really had a go, played with a real energy and intensity, and Switzerland scored against the run of play, really. But yeah, they've just not quite given enough, have they, in the second half? And Switzerland have just totally been in control.
They have, and they are readying two further changes. Michel Abisha and Sven Widmer are the two players to come on. Sylvain Widmer, who plays at right back, so you wonder if Denis Zakaria's game is over. And Michel Abisha, very much a holding midfielder, relegated with Pisa from Serie A this season. Changes aren't being made just yet, and Algeria moving forward here. They're inside the penalty area. Guidi is forced out of position and hacked out of play for an Algeria throw that Ait Nouri will want to take quickly, but the referee will stop him, because now those changes that Switzerland wanted to make a couple of moments ago, now they will be made. And Sylvain Widmer is indeed replacing Denis Zakaria. And Dan Ndoye, who scored the second goal for Switzerland just after half-time. We're watching a replay of it now from referee Cam. Great first touch, lovely finish, good Switzerland goal, and that's the goal, Sue, at the moment that looks like we'll be sending Switzerland through.
Yeah, it was just so calm, wasn't it, from Ndoye? It's the first touch just sets him up, and his right foot, instead of absolutely smashing it, he just side foots it into that far corner. But he's had a good game, Ndoye. You know, I know he's had chances in other games that maybe he should have done better, but he's certainly clinical there.
So Zakaria and Ndoye are off, and Widmer and Abisha are both on the field, a right back and a defensive midfielder. So Switzerland are very much happy with what they have and are looking to see this game out with little stress. It has been a second half of little stress for Switzerland, who will be winning, barring something miraculous now, their first knockout game at a World Cup in 88 years. Guidi for Algeria, who still are playing with this very predictable, methodical tempo, and it's not really hurting Switzerland. Musa now, right angle of the penalty area, spaced across, maybe shoot, dink to the back post, and that has Bulbina suspiciously offside, and Gregor Kerbel is demanding the offside flag up, and now it goes up. Well, we have clearly not the best view of that, but he looked miles offside. We'll see the replay to see how far offside, but quite strange the flag didn't go up immediately there.
Yeah, I think that's what Kerbel was saying.
I mean, he's miles offside.
Yeah, he's miles offside. As the ball goes in, it's just cut in, isn't it? And, you know, the delivery to the far post, it makes Kerbel make the save, which then goes out for the corner, so rightly so. Give the offside.
The only defence for the assistant referee was, I think he was unsure how close Bulbina was to the action, so I think he was saying, look, if you feel that he hasn't interfered with play, then it's not offside, but if you feel he has, then it definitely is. And the referee, quite rightly, decided the latter, because he was clearly going for the ball.
Yeah.
90 seconds to play. Algeria's race does look run, it's fair to say. We've seen some big finishes at this World Cup, so many late goals. Algeria not immune to late goals themselves, but they just haven't played with the rhythm and the fluidity and the danger that you feel they need to trouble this Switzerland back line. And their World Cup is rather petering out in disappointing fashion, having worked so hard to get themselves into this stage. One of the best third-place sides, drawing that dramatic game with Austria that would have sent them through anyway. Got a very late equaliser against Austria, meant they were playing Switzerland rather than Spain. But bar the opening 10-15 minutes, even though they did fall behind, they were the better side. They couldn't take advantage of the chances, and they've been very quiet in this second half. Switzerland win the ball back. Zeki Amdouni, wonder what his future holds with Burnley now in the Championship. Might feel that he owes Burnley something, having missed the majority of the season. He wins a free kick. Shabi is in quickly and too quickly, and the Switzerland fans now very much celebrating. We can see the Swiss flag with the white cross in the middle of the red background. 6 minutes of added on time. They know and they feel that their side has done enough, and they will be staying in Vancouver to play one of Colombia or Ghana, and they will feel that there's a chance there as well to make it to a World Cup quarter-final, where their most likely opponent will be Argentina. This is Argentina's section of the draw. Argentina playing Cape Verde a little later on, and the winner of that game will play Australia or Egypt in the last 16, and then the winner of that will play the winner of, or the winners of this game and the next last 16 game, which will be Switzerland against Colombia or Ghana. Here go Algeria. Musa, edge of the penalty area, step over. He's looked good since coming on, but he runs out of road. Rodriguez stands him up, and that will be a goal kick to Switzerland. They lead 2-0, and we have 5 minutes of added on time to play on 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
Yeah, Musa's looked lively since he's come on the right-hand side. He's dynamic, he shifts the ball well, a few little step overs, a few little tricks and flicks, but Switzerland have done well to double up on him whenever he's got the ball.
Section of the fans swaying back and forth in fine rhythm. And I imagine if you keep your eye on that, you'll get quite dizzy as they sway back and forward. Free kick conceded by Rida, and Algeria have this free kick deep inside their own half. A little surprised that they're not playing with the urgency of a side that are 2-0 down in a World Cup knockout game.
Really surprising that, like you mentioned it earlier, they're just continuing to play the same way. They're just passing the ball, they're knocking it around the back, and Switzerland are just saying, okay, we're quite happy with that.
Now they go long, left-hand angle of the penalty area. Really nice piece of control by Adil Bulbina on the far side, the left, as Algeria go from left to right. Massa's in space, onto his right foot. Elvedi with the block, still there for Algeria until the red shirts get it away, and there's a trip on Amdouni, and that will be a free kick to Switzerland just outside the penalty area. Well, that was a moment. Massa, who's been very quiet, exciting young talent, but he's barely been in the game, and he was very quickly smothered there.
Yeah, but that was better from Algeria, and that's what they've needed to do. They've needed to just stretch the play, go long at times. Instead of just passing the ball, trying to play through the thirds, they went long that time into the channel. It falls to Mazza centrally. And then again, he just can't quite get any power on the shot, and it's blocked quite easily from the Swiss back line. He's certainly a player with talent, but we've just not seen a lot of him today.
That has been the story of the Algeria chances they've created. If you are just joining our coverage on 5 Live and BBC Sounds, Algeria had chances in the first half, but couldn't really get any clean strikes on goal. Moussa tries again on the left. That's a good ball into the penalty area. Boudaoui takes up the running. Back out to Bulbina again. Angle of the penalty area. And then the ball into the box. No one read that. Tamely out of play for a Switzerland goal kick. And Algeria are tamely exiting the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, they are, and we mentioned it again in the first half, where we were saying that they have shown throughout this tournament a real sort of character and resilience and that ability to come back from behind, but just haven't seen that in the second half. And do we just praise Switzerland and say, well, they've just controlled it so well? But yeah, it's been a bit of a disappointing end, shall we say, for Algeria.
Rick Edwards standing by in Los Angeles, 5 Live breakfast, following our coverage in Vancouver, to reflect on all of the night's action and look ahead to this evening's games. Australia, Egypt at 7, Argentina, Cape Verde at 11. Both games live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. You can watch the Australia-Egypt game on BBC television, and there'll be plenty of previews ahead of England-Mexico, early hours of Monday morning. Switzerland looking for a third. Lovely touch inside the penalty area. Amdouni, and across very quickly came Ben Sebaini, wins the ball and wins Algeria a goal kick. But with 90 seconds to play, they need 2 goals to force extra time, and that just does not look like it is going to happen. Mondi, the Algeria centre-back, to Moussa on halfway. He will go for the big diagonal, hits that well, although Vidma thought he was just about to cut that out, didn't manage it, but Bulbina's touch into Vidma, out for an Algeria throw. Now they take it quickly, a foul throw. Well, that, as they say, Sue, sums it all up for Algeria. Foul throw with a minute to play. They trail 2-0. And their World Cup now is surely over. Yeah,
it's just not been their night, especially in this second half. It hasn't. And I think they'll look at moments in the game, fine margins when they've had those chances, not being able to take them. Switzerland have took their chances.
One final opportunity maybe for Algeria. No, another one tidied up at the back comfortably by Akanji. And Xhaka all the way back to Gregor Kerbel. And bar those saves he made in the first half with efforts that were straight at him, it has been a very, very comfortable afternoon, or comfortable evening, in Vancouver for the red shirts of Switzerland, who scored early in the game, scored early in the second half, and that will be job done. There might be one final flourish. Okafor's in the penalty area, onto his right foot, shot well blocked. There is another right foot effort, this time from Freuler, saved by goalkeeper Zidane. That was the opportunity for Switzerland to wrap it up in style. Firstly Okafor, shot blocked, and then from Freuler.
Yeah, it's a lovely little flick from Rieder centrally to Okafor, cuts in onto his right foot, it's blocked, and when it falls to Freuler, you think, oh, opportunity to get the third, but yeah, straight to the keeper.
And that is that. Switzerland win a knockout game at the World Cup for the first time in 88 years. And they really couldn't have asked for a much more simple progression through to the last 16. They've beaten Algeria by 2-0. Bril Embolo in the early stages, 10 minutes played when he tapped in Manzambi's assist, and Darren Doy, Nottingham Forest winger, just after half-time, making sure of the game. And then it was ruthless Swiss efficiency. They saw the game out with minimal fuss. Algeria offered next to nothing. A disappointing end for Vladimir Petkovic and Algeria, but Switzerland head through. They will be back in Vancouver to play one of Colombia or Ghana. And, Sue Smith, they were very rarely troubled.
No, you're right. I was really impressed with Switzerland. They had to hold on initially from the Algeria pressure. First opening sort of 10-15 minutes, they did that. They're really disciplined. We know that they'll always compete with teams, no matter who they play against. They'll work hard. They've got that real structure, but they've also got the quality. Embolo, they've got Manzambi, Vargas and Dor, you know, these quality players that will hurt teams. And in that second half, they completely control the game. I mentioned Xhaka throughout, and that's just because he dictates the tempo.